Hello everyone, good evening from Mumbai and welcome to my first flight vlog. Today we're taking a flight from Mumbai to Ahmedabad. We're flying with India's latest airline, Akasa Air. I've had a very average experience with them in the past. Let's see what happens on this flight. We're headed to Mumbai's Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj International Airport. This is the swanky ATC tower of Mumbai's CSMIA. I think it has received a few awards for its design. We're now headed towards Terminal 1's departure drop-off. This is the departure drop-off area of the Terminal 1. Looks pretty modern, but nothing compared to Mumbai's T2, which is absolutely marvellous. Terminal 1 has these high ceilings and this white lighting which I find modern and classy at the same time. The check-in queue was really long. However, an Akasa employee came and led us to a special counter only for Ahmedabad-bound passengers. Akasa changed my seat from 23F to 29A, even when I had pre-booked it on their app. At least, they gave me a window seat though. Let's head to security. There's some vibe about airports that I just can't get over. Also, I have many memories about Mumbai's T1. Maybe because I've flown often from here as a child. As I entered the security, a very sweet CISF personnel admonished me like a little child to turn off my camera. Of course, I obliged. Unlike the US's TSA, from what I've heard, the Indian CISF are so much kinder and more professional. I've barely ever had a bad experience with them. Since I have very less time, I won't access the lounge for this trip. Let's head to our gate.
What airline are you flying with?
Akasa.
It's Akasa.
The difference you see in the structure of this terminal is because they were earlier 3 different terminals. Terminals 1A, 1B and 1C. They were joined and integrated into one terminal some time ago. Let's board the aircraft. These opaque jet bridges are so boring. I like those that have glass walls. As I was getting on board, the FA at the door side-eyed my camera, but didn't say anything. Welcome on board Akasa Air's Boeing 737 MAX Suite. Just FYI, the recent incident with Alaska Airlines was on a Boeing 737 MAX 9. Different aircrafts of the same family. The Boeing sky interior was lit blue during boarding. Sadly, my camera couldn't capture it. I'm Tuan Soai, my seat for this flight. Although Akasa advertises purple seats, there are these black ones too. The seat back is very plain and barely includes any amenities except for the extendable tray table and seat pocket. Look at the split winglets on this 737 MAX aircraft. I like their design immensely. The overhead panel features the vents and the reading lights. The seat pocket features an air sickness bag, Cafe Akasa menu, and Boeing 737-8 MAX safety card.
समय पर उड़ान भरने के लिए आपसे निवेदन है कि आप अपना सामान ऊपरी सामान कक्ष में या अपने सामने वाली कुर्सी के नीचे रखें और शीघ्र अपने स्थान पर बैठ जाएं। इससे बाकी यात्रियों को आगे बढ़ने में सुविधा होगी और हम अपने निर्धारित समय पर उड़ान भर पाएंगे। धन्यवाद। Ladies and gentlemen, for us to close the doors for an on-time departure, kindly अपने सामान की परवाह ना करें और सबकी सुरक्षा को ध्यान में रखते हुए जितनी जल्दी हो सके एयरक्राफ्ट से बाहर निकलने की कोशिश करें।
Push back after a brief delay.
के लिए कृपया सुरक्षा निर्देश Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to remind you that as per directives from the DGCA,
The engines are fired up. Increase the volume to max to hear them properly.
Smoking devices such as cigarettes, e-cigarettes, personal vaporizers, vape pens, e-cigars, e-hookah, vaping devices, etc. on board this aircraft is strictly prohibited. Smoke detectors are installed in all the lavatories. Mobile phones and other electronic equipment may be used on flight mode during the flight once the seatbelt signs have been switched off. Government of India regulations prohibits photography at defence airports. Please check with your crew or ground staff before taking photographs. As we prepare for takeoff, please ensure that your hand baggage is stored in the overhead bins or under the seat in front of you, your seatbelt is fastened, your tray table closed, your seat back is in the fully upright position, and the window shades are open. We will be switching off the cabin lights for takeoff and landing. If you wish to read, you may switch on the reading light located in the panel above you. Thank you for flying with us today. Sit back, relax, and enjoy your flight.
Mumbai Airport has a lot of international traffic at this hour. Delays are quite common at this time. Holding short of runway 27 while another aircraft lands. Lining up on runway 27 for takeoff. It is approximately 3.6 kilometer long. We're cleared for takeoff. Volumes max, engine music lovers. We're airborne. Western Express Highway and the Western Suburban Line. Since we basically fly out over the sea and there was plenty of fog, there wasn't anything to see in the darkness. As the meal services began, the lights in the cabin were turned on.
उसके बाद यदि आप कैब अकासा के मेन्यू में से कोई खाद्य पदार्थ खरीदना चाहें तो समय रहने पर आपका चुना हुआ पदार्थ प्रदान करने में हमें खुशी होगी। सीमित समय होने के कारण रेडी टू ईट मील्स में केवल नूडल्स, उपमा और पोहा प्रदान किए।
The Boeing 737 MAX lavatories are quite spacious, unlike those on Vistara's A320neos. Don't forget to lock the lavatories like I did. Also, the lavatory lights are controlled by the latch in the lavatory.
Next 22 or 23 minutes from now, and thereafter 5 to 7 minutes to pass the aircraft to the bay. On behalf of Captain Kurt,
Aircraft's doors are so interesting. I want to do FAs enjoy opening and closing them.
Hope to see you soon again. Thank you for your kind attention.
Only after a few minutes of taking off, the captain declared that we would begin our descent into Ahmedabad shortly. I bought a cold coffee for 150 rupees. I could have bought it on ground for 30 rupees. We have begun our descent into AMD. As we're approaching finals, you can see the Sabarmati riverfront lit brightly. I'm not sure if there's much you can see from the left side of the aircraft. As we were approaching the airport, the plane started swerving quite aggressively. To the point I almost thought it would end up in a go-around. Nonetheless, we did touch down in the first attempt. Although we had departed Mumbai late, we arrived timely, a pretty common occurrence on this service.
बाबू आ गया मम्मा चलो अहमदाबाद आ गया भाई जैकेट दे दिए तू
You can see the aircrafts of the Emirati and the Czech leaders who were in Ahmedabad for some conference. There were other aircrafts too, but I couldn't really make out which governments they belonged to. I really wanted to alight on the tarmac and not the jet bridge. Sadly, we got a jet bridge boarding and deboarding. The 737 MAX is indeed a beautiful bird, from the inside as well as outside. However, here is where my ordeal began from. As I was alighting the aircraft, a cabin crew member, maybe the cabin head, asked me if I had shot any footage of the FAs. I denied. He briefly explained me the policy of the airline, and I assured him there was nothing he needed to worry about. I respect the privacy of other people, and I understand not everyone is comfortable being filmed, me being one of them. However, I would like to add that I've seen Akasa's FAs on the videos of other YouTubers, and I never saw them acting repulsively. However, what bothered me was what happened later. As I got off board, I heard the captain yelling at the ground staff and maybe even at the crew. He said something like, "Call him here." Immediately after which, a man in a fluorescent vest called me from across the jet bridge. He asked if I had recorded anything. I replied affirmatively. He asked me to delete my footage. I rejected his request. I knew the policies of the airline and the DGCA, and I knew I hadn't violated anything. After a brief argument with that man, the cabin head came out on the jet bridge and very professionally explained the situation to me, that the captain had issues with me recording. Just as much as I respected his professionalism, I don't think anybody has the right to yell at anybody, and sorry to say, Akasa, a good aircraft doesn't mean a good service. Your pilots can bully your company, but not your passengers. I hope you realise that. I also called Akasa the next day to report this incident, and I am not surprised to tell Yul that, apart from an apology, I didn't find any other resolutions. Let's exit Ahmedabad's terminal, a pretty mediocre terminal for its domestic operations. After the ridiculous experience with their crew, I felt emotionally burnt. I quickly exited the airport since I had no baggage to collect. Good morning, Ahmedabad. However, I am here only for an hour or so. I have a flight back to Mumbai in 3 hours. Until then, please don't forget to like, comment and share. Your subscriptions mean a lot to me. Stay tuned. I'll be flying on Air India's A3 Femfad 900 soon.